Stalking. Let's define it. I like this definition from the Paladin National Stalking Advocacy Service, which reads, stalking is a pattern of repeat and persistent unwanted behavior that is intrusive and engenders fear. It is when one person becomes fixated or obsessed with another and the attention is unwanted. Threats may not actually be made, but victims may feel scared. Even if there is no threat, this is still stalking and it is a crime. So some issues to select out of there is that this is a persistent pattern of behavior on behalf of the perpetrator. It's very intrusive and it causes fear in the person who is being stalked. And this is not love, it's not romance, it's not sweet, that person's really into you so they're going to follow you everywhere. It is an absolute fixation or obsession. I want to remind you that the term stalking initially came from the description of an animal who is stalking its prey. Now let's think about what that entails. The animal is following the prey around, they're trying not to be seen or heard or smelled, and their intention is very clear. They're not stalking because they want to have a chat. They are stalking because they are absolutely obsessed with the end game. And the end game when an animal is stalking is that they want to catch and eat their prey. Now, when humans stalk other humans, the outcome is often similar. There is a very high association between stalking behavior from a perpetrator and the eventual murder of the victim of stalking. In fact, some experts on IPV refer to stalking as murder in slow motion. So stalking is often romanticized in the media and in popular culture, but it is absolutely terrifying to experience and it can be completely deadly. This is something that often happens when a victim of intimate partner violence wants to end the relationship and move on, but the other partner cannot let go. And it becomes a situation of, if I can't have you, no one can. Now let's look at harassment, which goes hand in hand with stalking. And I like this good old-fashioned Oxford Dictionary definition, which is aggressive pressure or intimidation. So harassment is, again, a pattern of behavior in terms of intimate partner violence, where the perpetrator continues to try and insert themselves into the life of the victim, be it physically, showing up at their home all the time, or be it digitally, which is a massively increasing problem globally. It can be very difficult to shake someone that you don't want to be in your life anymore in the situation of intimate partner violence. So harassment is unwanted. It makes the victim feel very uncomfortable or threatened, and it interrupts their daily life. Everybody knows, for example, about sexual harassment, which is unwanted comments or advances or unwanted attention, which can happen anywhere, at home, at work, on the street. But again, it's that flavor of unwanted input from the other person that makes the victim feel very uncomfortable or, frankly, terrified. Again, stalking and harassment may not ever involve any kind of physical contact, but there is always a substantial amount of intimidation. And it can take very little effort on the part of the perpetrator to intimidate the victim. Words are very powerful and can be very threatening, and perpetrators will make threats. All of these threats that you see on the screen are from actual real life cases that I know about. And this is just a tiny little sample of the kind of intimidation and threats that can be made. And the huge dilemma that we have is that 50% of perpetrators who make a threat like this will in fact follow through on the threat like this. So you don't know whether, if someone is threatening to kill you, you've got a 50-50 chance that they really mean it or they really don't. Or they're threatening to harm your children or your family, or take your children away from you, or ruin your reputation, or destroy your life in some way. There's a 50% chance that they will follow through and do that. And so this kind of intimidation is, again, a very potent means of control of the victim. And it can culminate in the perpetrator taking action. So these threats and these behaviors of stalking and harassment can end up being fatal to the victim. And there need not ever have been any physical violence before that point. A homicide could be the first physical act that somebody makes, and everybody thinks that it has come completely out of the blue. But if you dig a little bit deeper, there is always very clear evidence of a pattern of behavior leading up to an intimate femicide.